Welcome to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where it's early October, but it feels like mid-July at Highmark Stadium on the banks of the Monongahela River. I am Matt Geico alongside Paul Child on ESPN Plus for you tonight. There you see the two teams, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. You see the records. Pittsburgh third in the East. FC Cincinnati has run away with the USL's regular season championship, and both sides in good form. No, it's not a playoff game, but about as significant as a late matchup can be between two teams that are destined for the USL Cup postseason. And Paul, FC Cincinnati has not lost since Memorial Day weekend, but that's not to say they haven't had some drama here as they've surged to the Shield. Here we see against Penn down in Harrisburg just a couple of weeks ago. They needed 2 late goals to reverse this decision.
Yeah, and that's what they've been doing. Late in games, scoring goals, and as you can say, you can't give Cincinnati a chance like any of these opportunities where the keeper saves a shot and then passes it out and somebody can't, puts it away. And here's another great shot, way outside the box, catching the goalkeeper out of position. So
much talent on this FC Cincy team, and you just saw Emmanuel Ledesma, 15 goals, and Corbin Bone with 9 cashing in. Bone here against Toronto FC 2, last in the East, Toronto, but they had a lead at Nippert Stadium down in Cincinnati. That was until another late change of events, and Corbin Bone on the end of this one as well.
Yeah, Corbin Bone seemed to come on the field and nobody realized he was playing. Nobody picked him up and he just puts it away twice.
Well, when you have an unbeaten streak as long as Cincinnati's, 21 in a row looking to tie the USL record, you're going to have to get some of those dramatic moments go your way late. And speaking of second half, and in fact into stoppage time, the Riverhounds have gotten 2 critical points lately in their pursuit for a top 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. Canardo Forbes buries the PK 3 weeks ago against Louisville, and then just last week down in Charlotte, here's Ben Zemansky gathering a pass from Hugh Roberts and burying it into the corner.
Yeah, the keeper getting really frustrated with this one. As you can see when he gets up, he didn't see it till the last second, until the ball was bouncing back out of the net, and had a lot of players in front of him. Couldn't do a thing about it.
So the Hounds now 3-0-2 in their past 5. That has locked up a playoff spot, and for the first time in the Highmark Stadium era, a home game here in 2 weeks' time. But still some regular season housekeeping to finish up for both these teams, but especially for the Hounds, Paul, because they're trying to track down Louisville, now 3 points behind Lou City, but with a game in hand here.
No, that's super important. So this game is really important, Matt. I think the Hounds have got to go out there, and I'm sure Bob Lilly has been really pressing on them, saying, hey, we've got to go out there. This isn't the end of the season. We've got to go get 3 points, end up in second place, and then finish with a great upper, for the fans as well.
Second place would mean 2 home playoff games if you can win the first, and the players and coaches are talking about it constantly here. We'll be back to bring you the kickoff. We're looking forward to this one, to Ohio River rivals in the USL.
Hello, Shanti. How are you today?
Rose. Good, thank you.
How's this pressure for you? Okay?
Yes.
I'm going to do nice and light today for you.
Visit ahn.org/cancer to learn more about the Cancer Institute at Allegheny Health Network.
You've done right by investing in your home. And now, you can use that equity to borrow money for the things you need. With a low 1.99% APR and no fees, you can apply for a home equity loan online and use the money to upgrade to that minivan, make home improvements, or finance college. At Clearview, we can help you find ways to use the equity in your home for more important things. Let us help. Visit us online for more information. Clearview Federal Credit Union, the next generation of personal banking.
The Riverhounds Technical Training Academy is back this winter at the AHN Sports Complex at Cool Springs. The 15-session program runs from December to March and is loaded with skills development taught by professional players from around the world. Registration opens in August. Sessions begin December 1st. Find out more by emailing wintertraining@riverhounds.com or by calling 412-325-7238.
Feels like the playoffs here at Highmark Stadium. The Riverhounds set to take on FC Cincinnati for what might be the final time in the USL. We could be seeing a playoff matchup perhaps later on this fall, but as for right now, this is the last scheduled matchup of the season, and here's your starting 11 for FC Cincinnati. Emery Welshman had a fine game here against Pittsburgh in the U.S. Open Cup back in May. He's at the top of the formation. Bone, McLaughlin, Ledesma, all very lethal in the attacking midfield. Spencer Richey gets the start between the sticks. FC Cincinnati has split the difference basically with their two keepers in Richey and Evan Newton. They go to Richey tonight. No mystery of who's in goal for this big matchup for the Riverhounds, though. Dan Lynn back in there. He already has a club record 11 clean sheets on the season. Greenspan, Roberts, and Vunky Azil, the men in the middle on the back line. Bretton Parks, Paul Child at the top of the formation. They have had quite the chemistry at times this season.
Oh, yeah, they put it together now and again. I mean, and this is the game that they really would like to get things on the board again. I'm sure both of them going into the playoffs would like to get on the scoreboard cheap.
There you see your head referee, Eric Tattersall, makes a repeat appearance at Highmark Stadium, a familiar face for us. We've been here for Hounds games over the years, and we're underway. Final home game of the regular season for the Hounds. For the first time, though, they will host a playoff game at Highmark Stadium in 2 weeks' time. It's not the final time for the Hounds in front of the home faithful this year. Thomas Vunky Azil from the midfield, pressured by Emmanuel Ledesma. Plenty of star power on display, really for both sides, but Cincinnati running away with the regular season championship. Yeah, we'll introduce you to some of the key figures there as the evening goes along. Tapped into the middle of the pitch by Justin Hoyt. Long ball for Ledesma. He pulls this one in. He's lethal from everywhere, really. You got to defend him hard, as Vunky Azil did there to poke the ball away.
Hounds starting off a bit slow there, Matt, and really giving them an opportunity right off the get-go here. And I'm a little bit surprised, and I'm sure you're going to hear some instructions from Bob Lilly real soon if these guys kind of just got lethargic there and were giving the ball away way too much, and now they've got possession right now and it's trying to create something. Great run down the line by Parks.
Here comes Parks in and tried the sharp angle drive that went well high. Romeo Parks taking that ball from Kenardo Forbes on right wing.
Boy, I thought he could have done a lot better with that match. You know, he was all on his own and nobody around him. I don't know what he was thinking, and just drilling the ball across really high.
We'll take a glance at it here on replay.
I think he was a little bit surprised, and there he could have taken a touch.
He had time, yeah, to cut back if he wanted to, or at least slow it down if he desired. So perhaps some early jitters for the Hounds here. It's not the playoffs, Paul, but it feels like it when you're playing the best team in the league and a team that you've never beaten, including an 0-1-2 or 0-2-1, pardon, record against Cincinnati this year, including that U.S. Open Cup loss.
Yeah, I think that's really definitely on the Hounds' minds, Matt. You want to get out there and really have a good game tonight, because we may meet them in the playoffs, and you never know. And this is where you've got like set your bar and let them know that we're not a pushover here. You know.
Bob Lilly coaching the Hounds, his first year here in Pittsburgh, 18th season as a pro coach. Alan Koch is the manager for FC Cincy in his second season, and 4th overall as a pro. He's a product of the Vancouver Whitecaps development system. Koch, the 43-year-old from South Africa. And he was saying this week, Paul, thought it was interesting, he's happy that his team is playing Pittsburgh and then Nashville next week, because when you go up against quality sides late in the regular season, you have a better chance of keeping your edge for the postseason, as this ball will stay in play, but then dumped out by Joe Greenspan into the stands.
No, I agree with that totally, Matt. I think it's really good. When you're playing teams that are way at the, or not even in the playoffs, that's when it causes teams to get real casual.
And we saw it in the Open, in fact, since he trailed against Penn, trailed against Toronto in recent weeks. Well, the Hounds might have gotten away with one there as they dispossessed the ball from Emery Welshman. Mohamed Dabo moves it up the center of the park. Good ball right on the right foot of Romeo Parks, who turns it upfield. Parks stumbles over it for a second. Now he lays one through on the overlap, a little too far, and Well, maybe too much toward the sideline for Jordan Dover to catch up. Goal kick, Cincinnati. That'll be handled by Spencer Richey, the 26-year-old native of the state of Washington.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there with those two. And Park's doing a great job taking that ball and taking it down the line, but then kind of like getting caught up in his feet and kind of messed everything up, actually.
Dare we dream of a playoff matchup between these two? It's the top scoring team in the league in Cincinnati and the top defending team in the league in Pittsburgh. Greenspan reaches with a foot to get in front of Emery Welshman. Welshman, the native of Canada, working with Ledesma. Now Corbin Bone taps his forward looking for Welshman. FC Cincinnati so technical in the small areas, you can't give him an inch. And the Hounds do well to win that throw. Thomas Vankiazil, the French rookie, will handle.
And you see Cincinnati knocking these balls into Welshman. He's a real strong player too. He's well built, stocky kind of a player. He's hard to get the ball from, and he makes it very, very difficult for defenders.
Miscommunication. Dan Lind is going to handle this. Hugh Roberts, one of his center backs, just ran enough interference to keep Welshman from getting there.
Yeah, that was a very clever move there, because I thought that was going to be a miscommunication and the players zipping in between them and getting a free shot on goal.
We'll keep an eye on the out-of-town scoreboard. However, Louisville is not in action tonight, so the Riverhounds don't have to worry about their prime and really only competition for the 2 seed in the East. They defeated Toronto FC 2, did Lou City, 3-1 last night up in Toronto. So Lou City 3 points up on the Hounds. The Hounds have a game in hand. The problem for Pittsburgh, though, as this ball is knocked out carelessly by Fatai Alashe. Problem for Pittsburgh in going up against Louisville is Louisville has the tiebreak in wins. Even if Pittsburgh wins tonight, Louisville will still have that first tiebreak, which is total victories. It's only by 1, though, so it's not insurmountable in the final 2 weeks of the regular season. The throw-in, Welshman chests it down. Corbin Bone swats it over on the far wing. That's where we see former Harrisburg City Islander Jimmy McLaughlin sending it through. Hugh Roberts on the clear. McLaughlin scored the opening goal of that U.S. Open Cup victory for Cincy here 4 months ago. And Paul, Cincinnati is one of only 3 teams to come in here and take a win from Highmark Stadium, joining Charleston and Nashville.
Yeah, they're such a well-organized team as well, Matt. You know, they're very together, compact. Look at every time the Hounds get the ball, they're closing down, 2 men on 1. Here goes Parks with some speed. That's
flying.
A nice move.
There's the cutback. Parks again trying to recreate last week at Charlotte when he had a spectacular goal to start. Brett is in the middle and takes this ball, and he missed it high, but
Brett lost his concentration there. He was arguing with the referee before the cross came across, because I think he just got held or pushed down, and and then the ball came to him, and he was taken by surprise and woofed it over the crossbar.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what Brett was arguing about as I had my eye on the ball, as most
right
did.
there.
Yes, he tumbled down there, colliding with.
I think that's the second time too, though, Matt. I think it happened earlier in the game as well, where the player just ran into him and knocked him straight down.
That was the Cincinnati captain, Patty Barrett, who got the better of Brett in the box. And you understand the protest, but also a prime chance to put the Hounds on top early and for Brett to get his 16th of the season. Vankiazil leaned in, couldn't win it from Ledesma. Then Tabo takes out Ledesma's leg, and Vankiazil tumbles on top of him. Emmanuel Ledesma, arguably the biggest weapon on the offensive side of things for Cincinnati. He's the first player in USL history with 15 goals and 15 assists. What a spectacular year it's been.
Yeah.
Making his debut in the USL, 30-year-old Argentinian. Emmanuel Ledesma, who is up, and referee Tattersall wants Justin Hoyt to do it again from right in front of our broadcast location. Almost 8 minutes in, no score between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Great opportunity here for Cincinnati, actually. Got a left-footed player here, going to bend this ball in towards the keeper. He's going to try and probably put this right on the penalty, between the penalty spot and the top of the box.
Ledesma so accurate, he puts this one in a dangerous position. Welshman rising up, but he can't direct it on target. Canardo Forbes, the Hounds captain, has it, but knocked it right off the leg of Michael Lahoud, and Now McLaughlin tries twice to cross it, but both times stymied by Greenspan.
Yeah, Greenspan did a great job there, just stuffing that, and now we've got a free kick to the Riverhounds.
The Hounds had to bend there, but they did not break.
Cincinnati players getting on the linesman's case down here as well now, kind of upset with the calls by the referee, and I think it's going a little bit both ways. They're both getting real physical with each other and want to let players know that, hey, I'm right here behind you, going to make it difficult for you, so I'm waiting for it.
It has been a testy start to this one. One of the more physical opening 10 minutes of the season for sure. And it's a tight pitch here in Pittsburgh, not a lot of room to run. You're going to be bumping into guys no matter what, but especially so far. And here's a strong take from LaHood against Francois, but Forbes is on the ball. He slipped down inside the area. No call upcoming. Ledesma switches play.
Yeah, that was just whack it out if in doubt, and was being put under pressure. And again, a late hit right there. You're going to see a lot of them, I think, right here in the first 20 minutes or so.
It's fan appreciation night, and it's a nice crowd here. Plenty of visiting fans of FC Cincinnati, known as the Bailey. That's their supporters group. They're down to our right. That's 3 straight matches now that we've seen a pretty impressive opposing attendance at Highmark. Makes for a better atmosphere.
Yeah, I
don't have a problem with it.
No, it's great. I think it's great for the game, and it's great for the your team that's playing away.
And you saw Cincinnati, as the starting 11s were being announced, several of its players were applauding toward their supporters group that made the journey. Now 10 minutes into this one. This is the first official league matchup here at home between these two teams as far as the Riverhounds are concerned. They played Cincinnati twice at Nippert Stadium. Both times they had a lead in the second half, did the Hounds, but could not hold on to it. They had to settle for a tie and a 1-goal loss. The cross from Hoyt. It's on Dover to handle it well, and he tries to direct it out for a throw. It looks like he will be able to do so successfully.
Yeah, he really didn't have much option there. He didn't know what was really behind him, so he just wanted to get up and out, high as he could, out of danger.
Back to Corbin Bone, puts it off a body. McLaughlin helps it along. Another switch of play. Barrett has to step to. Lofts it skyward. Until it's getting late in the year. It's already essentially nightfall here at Highmark Stadium. Francois slowing things down, but he missed on that pass looking for Ben Zemansky. Off the turnover, Emery Welshman.
Yeah, that's not a good ball. Back into the middle of the park where you have all these players that are waiting for it, and especially when you miskick it like that, put pressure right back on the Hounds.
Hoyt, former Premier League player, mishandled, and then he gave it up. Hounds take it away on the pressure.
Oh, that's a great
to
ball.
Forbes. This one will drop perfectly onto the boot of Cristiano Francois. Francois right into the 18, and he won the corner kick.
I think you got Nico Brett there was really flying to the near post, and Francois was looking to try and hit that ball as hard as he could and connect with him, but defender did a really good job there of just blocking it before it went to Nico Brett.
Wonderful pace to start this one. It's usually fast and frantic here on the Mon, but there's a little extra in the air tonight. You can just tell. Francois will take the corner kick, as he usually does from this side. A dangerous one, and headed just to the left of the goal.
I think he'd hit the player on the way out, and the referee missed it.
Yeah, he's not giving it to Pittsburgh. It's a goal kick, FCC. That's off of Parks' head. He was in the middle, right by the spot.
Yeah, it looked like both headed it at the same exact time. So, referee is never going to give the offense the benefit of the doubt. It's going to be defense.
Right. That's usually how it goes. At the back line, Barrett, right up the gut to Alashe. Fatai Alashe on loan from the San Jose Earthquakes. FC Cincinnati is loaded up late. They are ready to go for the USL Cup playoffs, trying to win this league in their last year in it. A square ball, Ledesma drives it, saved by Lind. Boy, for a moment, it looked like the Hounds gave Ledesma way too much room, and they did, really, but he could not beat Dan Lind. Best save of this match early on.
Yeah, goalkeeper did a great job there. He sent Zvonky O'Neill totally out of position and set himself up for a great shot. Great move you're going to see here, a fake shot, cut it inside, and got it between two players.
You're right, Zvonky O'Neill leaned the wrong way, and then he was in trouble. He was on skates for a moment, could not recover. Riverhounds will get this goal kick after the missed boot. So give Cincinnati the best chance of the opening 14 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's the first one we've really seen have it with an opportunity. So Hounds had one here with the corner kick, but didn't get it on target, and that's about it. It's going to be a tight one tonight, Matt, with these two teams. They're just really battling at each other and really fighting.
Maybe the biggest challenge of the season for the Riverhounds, and they've had success. They just went unbeaten on a 3-match homestand here last month. They went 2-0-1. You saw some of those dramatics against Louisville. But overall, the Riverhounds were dominant in possession. Tonight, it's going to be more difficult to own the ball. They may have to be more opportunistic. Dover, or pardon, Hugh Roberts actually, got run into some trouble, but the ball played out off a Cincinnati foot last.
Yeah, he lucked out a little bit there and got the bounce. And
well, you see all the bright pink, the fluorescent pink, on the Riverhounds jerseys, their socks. Also, the goal nets are pink. It's for cancer awareness here. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. The Riverhounds commemorating that, and the jerseys will be auctioned off to benefit that cause. In fact, after this one. So the Riverhounds in black, as they have been a lot lately, but a different touch on it this evening. Those are not their typical colors, though, if you're watching the Riverhounds for the first time. Headed into traffic by Parks. He was upset with himself. He thought someone was going to be there, but Dabo did not step to.
Cincinnati just calming it down a little bit now, taking the pace off the ball.
Offside, FC Cincinnati. Well, we said in the open, it bears repeating, though. It's a 21-game unbeaten streak. Yes, 2-1. Since Memorial Day weekend, FC Cincinnati has not tasted defeat. The record for the USL is 22, so they can match it tonight, and they can actually beat it by the end of the season. They face Nashville at Nashville next Saturday. Not many teams have taken wins out of Highmark Stadium, but as we've said, the FC Cincinnati side has done it in U.S. Open Cup. Mohamed Dabo rounds this pass. There. Beautiful touch from Forbes, who gets it right back. Forbes now guides it through for Parks. Couldn't drive it on line, and fortunately for Cincinnati, that ball stayed in play, and it's swatted out of danger on that far side. Forrest Lasso took care of it initially.
Oh, and that's a corner kick, I think. But the linesman never kept up with it.
It will be a corner kick. The linesman did.
Nah, he gave it a throw-in, I think.
On his horse. Oh, no, it's a deep throw, pardon me. Yeah, I thought he was... Well, now it'll be a corner kick as the action's a little too fast for me to keep up with.
I think it should have been a corner kick, Matt. The linesman was trying to catch up with it and was behind the line, and he couldn't really give a call there.
Well, so perhaps...
Oh, he has give it now.
He did give it after the pinball action. Quick replay to show you what the keeper Richey was able to do.
Yeah, he was way over the line.
That might have been out, though. Zemansky's corner into the mixer and headed clear, but not all the way out. Oh! Up comes Roberts. Oh. Save made.
What a great opportunity that was, and he just didn't really catch the ball like he wanted to, and it bounced perfectly for him, and it just didn't get enough power and placement.
Spencer Richey down to a side. Plenty of velocity on that one, but more toward the center of the goal. And I think the Hounds would have preferred, but now we have both keepers challenged. Good stuff tonight on ESPN+. I am Matt Geica with Paul Child alongside in our broadcast booth above the near side bleachers at Highmark Stadium. Riverhounds throw over there on the far wing. We'll take a look at the corner, which was bent in by Ben Zemansky. Zemansky, who has come on as of late. He's handled plenty of set pieces.
Great little bounce there and just didn't really catch it, yeah.
Dover, who scored against Cincinnati back in April. In fact, it's just his. That was just his first goal in the pros back then. He has a couple this season now. Missed pass there. Blake Smith could not connect with his man on the wing, McLaughlin. So that gives the throw in right back to Pittsburgh. Impressive to see Jordan Dover take advantage of that spot. Zemansky dispossesses, but Cincinnati back in possession now. Ledesma dropping one in. Welshman tripped and no call. Maybe he just stumbled down on his own volition, but Dan Lynn handles, and you could hear the ooh and the ah from the Steel Army back behind the goal. They were fearful of a PK.
I tell you what, Welshman there was unlucky because I think he totally mistimed this one, and didn't get the touch on it that he really needed, and he was lucky that Welshman fell down and went down on the ground.
Maybe he just caught his boot on the artificial surface. It's one of the few artificial pitches in the USL. Lasso didn't take any chances with that one, did he? As he just put it into the river, it appears. Bounced off the bank, and I think it's wet.
That was a quick throw.
Anyway, Dover couldn't get to it to volley at home. Now Zemansky and a whistle. No kick. A foul called against Pittsburgh at the edge of the 18. Ben Zemansky lurking once again. He has caught fire as of late. And with Kevin Kerr out due to a torn calf muscle, he's rehabbing it, but the 6-year Riverhound Kerr is still not back in the 18 for the Hounds, so maybe he'll have to wait for the playoffs to get back out there. But in his stead, Ben Zemansky has been quite good, and with 133 MLS appearances to his name, you expect that from a veteran of his caliber. Hoyt couldn't hold this.
Yeah, I think Kerr's going to be back for the playoffs, and he'll have great guy on the bench for any substitutions needed for Zemansky, and Zemansky's done a great job, as you said, coming in for him.
Zemansky in that attacking midfield position. He started the year as more of a holding midfield guy, and he's had some minor nicks that maybe kept him from getting up to match fitness. That looked like a handball, but no call. It was one of those situations where the official is shielded from the play. Couldn't quite tell for sure, but the Riverhounds will have a deep throw now.
I thought his assistant would, they have mic sets on. You'd have thought he'd have got a hold of that one and saw that, but never said anything and let it play on.
21st minute, Thomas Vankiazil to throw. Getting back to Zemansky, he has 2 goals in his past 4 matches, scored here against Indy, score on the road to tie it up against Charlotte. Starting to catch fire, and now a turnover. Brett to Parks, lets it fly, that's blocked.
Boy, that was a long way out too, but he had some power on that and couldn't quite get it through that defense because there was 4 players back there and just got a good block on it.
Would have been trouble if it got through, but not to be. Good time to let you know that FC Cincinnati leads the entire USL in blocked shots, so not only can they score a ton, but they get in the way of things rather well. 128.
They help their keeper out a lot that way, for sure.
Cincinnati does not play a safe brand of football either, so maybe there is more of an occasion to block some shots for this side. Not that they play wide open, but they're an attacking group. And as you can tell from looking at their numbers on the year, they've been successful at that. Ledesma has been a big part of that, but he's dispossessed by Vankiazil. Ball over the top to Brett. He's onside is Nico Brett. 15 goals on the year. The Riverhounds number 9 closes in. Now plays it square, a little too far for Forbes. It skipped past him. Hounds still in possession. Regathered. It's Zemansky.
Oh, great
into
run
the box.
there.
Here comes Dover, but he has it stripped away for Lasso, the last line of defense.
Just a split second there too soon. Didn't quite get it where he needed to get a shot off, and great combinations right there. That's the way to beat Cincinnati if you're going to do it, I think.
Parks mishandled, and here comes Ledesma, but he had a heavy touch. Now ball in the air, up for grabs, Dabo. One of the best Hounds at getting the ball back, and he does so here. Parks to Forbes into the area, and Nico Brett slid down, but he couldn't get a piece of that cross.
Yeah, just looking for a toe on the end of that one, and he was way past the the goal, but all you need is that little deflection, and if you can get it back on target, it would have caused the keeper some problems there.
Two quick regroups. Ben Zemansky clapping his hands over his head. He loves how the Hounds have been assertive here in the last couple of minutes. This will not be a game like what we saw Labor Day weekend down in Cincy when the Riverhounds played the counterattack game. A little bit of rope-a-dope. They actually had the better of the chances until late in that match when recent addition Fanendo Adi scored the winner. Hounds, in fact, led 1-0 going into the 83rd minute. No Adi today. He's not part of the traveling party. Also, Danny Koenig, one of the key cogs for Cincinnati, is out due to yellow card accumulation. That one is just knocked out.
Yeah, I can't believe he let that go or touched it out because it was going to be Cincinnati's throw, but now it's the Riverhounds' throw. I think he was uncertain who touched the ball last, actually. That's
Had to have been. Yeah, Justin Hoyt didn't like his chances, apparently, to turn that ball around. Francois. Francois trying to play it to himself.
I think he was dreaming there, actually. He knocked it so far that there was no way that player was going to let you go around it.
Cristiano Francois in that win at Penn 10 days ago that clinched the playoff spot. He was the catalyst on that soggy pitch down at FNB Field in Harrisburg. Impressive to watch him work, especially considering you couldn't really dig a spike into that soggy surface. Flick-on header by Brett sets up that man, Francois. Cheetah has the ball at his feet.
I think he's going to cut it back and try a shot here with his
on his right foot. There he is. It's blocked again by Hoyt, but right back out to Kennardo Forbes. He'll try one, and that's redirected by LaHood and right in on Spencer Richey.
Forbes there, I think he got some power on that, and that was a bending shot to the top right-hand corner. And he got a great block again from his defense, the goalkeeper.
Francois has been deadly on that move where he plants the foot and then heads centrally. Parks, boys, he had some jump in those legs. Romeo Parks, Jamaican-born forward, crosses one off Lasso dangerously, then Hoyt knocks it out of danger. But the Riverhounds are keeping Cincinnati pinned in suddenly. Zemansky first to the ball. Francois. Slides it through. Oh, great ball, but just a hair ahead of Nico Brett.
That was a brilliant pass there because he was looking for Nico there just to get a little redirection on the inside of his foot and couldn't quite catch it. Boy, a lot of excitement right now. Here's a replay on that again. Just watch this perfect pass.
Finesse from Francois. We're not used to seeing a lot of that this year from him, but he just guided that through traffic.
Yeah, right.
And Brett, hands on head. He's disappointed in himself that he couldn't polish that one off.
Yeah, it's Cincinnati are kind of on edge here a little bit, Matt. The Hounds have just not let up at all in the last 5 or 10 minutes and really putting them under a lot of pressure. You just think you hope that, you know, eventually it's going to break for them, but we know that Cincinnati can get a breakaway too and put the ball away.
Both teams' back lines have appeared under siege at times, and we have talented attacking groups here. And I mentioned the Riverhounds are best in the league in preventing goals, but actually they've scored multiple goals now in 5 matches in a row. That sets a USL era record for this franchise. So suddenly that attack is getting revved up. It started in that 4-1 defeat of Bethlehem about a month ago. Kicked off that homestand that really put the Hounds in the driver's seat in terms of playoff positioning.
And Nico Brett way out wide, need him to get him back in the center here, but looks like
Dover gave that one away. On the back track, Greenspan's going to let this one roll in on his keeper, Dan Lind. So it's almost a tale of 2 seasons for the Riverhounds. They were so stifling in the first 3 to 4 months. They've given up more goals lately, but still are the best team on the average in terms of keeping teams off the scoreboard, and they've added some offense. So looking more and more dangerous to the opposition. And here comes Forbes now. Can he get there? He won't. Barrett had that go off his body, maybe off of Forbes, who saves it before the byline.
And here you go with Francois.
Francois, another back post play. Oh. That time too far for both Brett and Parks.
Yeah, I think he was really looking for Parks there, and he just overhit the ball a little bit, Matt, because Parks, you know, look at the size of the guy. Great opportunity there if he gets a good pass.
A reminder that Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com and receive free shipping, by the way, on orders over $50. Spencer Richey puts this Select ball deep into the Pittsburgh night. On the run here, Welshman, can he get there? No. After that play from Ledesma, who has moved from the right all the way over to the left flank.
The game's kind of settled down a little bit now. You can see it's not so rushed and not a lot of choppy tackling and pecking at each other. Just some really good combinations, 1-2s, and looking for players all the time. As I say that, he gets chopped down, but, you know, we've kind of got away from that now, and both teams are trying to work out keeping possession, making chances, creating opportunities through. But the Hounds have definitely been doing that in the last 10 minutes.
That was Michael Lahoud who felled Ben Zemanski. I wonder if they face each other in the MLS, because Lahoud has 122 appearances at the top level of North American soccer. Zemanski at 133. It's an impressive array of talent that FC Cincinnati has accumulated as they get ready to make their MLS debut next year. No foul called over there on the far side as Cincy tries to regather it. Corbin Bone, a little back heel roll, if you will. Hoyt to McLaughlin, confronted by Thomas Vankiazil. Gets his foot in there. Does Tommy V to take it away, but Zemanski misfires. Bone.
Yeah, Zemanski's got to be ready there.
Welshman, the one-touch. McLaughlin. McLaughlin on the ground, not cleared completely by Roberts, but then Vankiazil takes care of the rest. It was McLaughlin who scored to put Cincinnati ahead in the U.S. Open Cup match. That was a 3-1 final in favor of the visitors that night. That ended the run in U.S. Open Cup for Pittsburgh. FC Cincinnati did not do much better, though, as they were knocked out in PKs by Minnesota United of Major League Soccer. Roberts dangerously taking it right at Fatai Alashe and got away with it.
Yeah, really didn't have a good touch on it again there, and could have been really taken to the cleaners. But here we go with Francois.
Doesn't take much from him. A one-hopper on net, and Richey gobbles it up. It's amazing how quickly it can go from defense to offense when you play it on Francois' wing.
Yeah.
He drags it with the best of them.
He didn't really catch the keeper by surprise at all there, though. You know, I think he was looking to sneak it into the near post, but really was not. His body position wasn't good, Matt. You know, the keeper could read that pretty well.
Yeah,
and you see
tried
right
to jam
there.
it through, did Francois, with power, but not able to do so. Would have taken a perfect shot at that point. Yes, there are tells that a keeper can look at to see what an attacker is playing to do. And the best strikers or the best attackers, they disguise that type of thing as well.
No, definitely. I mean, it's a big part of it. It's like on penalty kicks or anything dead ball situations. You can see the body language and you know which way they're going to go or which direction that ball's going to travel, bend into the right or whatever. So I think he just read that really easily. That's where Francois got to work on different fakes.
Corbin Bone, a soft touch and a good one, and easy trip call there after Dabo took that one off the foot of Alashe.
Yeah, and it was right in front of the referee, so.
Mohamed Dabo leads this team with 54 tackles won, but on that occasion a little late. Took out the leg, and the Riverhounds now drop all 11 men back. It's a bit of a shorter pitch vertically than most fields, so they're just past midfield, but this is an attack opportunity for Ledesma, who had to roll it back about a yard, as you saw.
And he just kept putting it forward, and the referee came and moved it back, and he still put it forward.
Ledesma in the direction of the penalty spot, but Hugh Roberts got rid of it off his noggin.
First time Cincinnati been down in this end for a while, and we'll see what the Hounds do here is take charge here and win this ball back and counter-attack, hopefully.
We've seen our share of scoreless first halves at Highmark this year, but this would be right up there among the most entertaining, no matter the score. Both teams swinging away. Justin Hoyt, second year Cincinnati wingback, will handle this throw in.
Looks like he's looking for a front runner and is going to flick it on.
Former member of Arsenal of the English Premier League, and also 18 caps for Trinidad and Tobago. He really is taking his time, is the 33-year-old, waiting for runners to make their breaks. Tossed in. Welshman back to the goal against Vankiazio. Maybe got a bit of jersey, did Tommy V, but no call. It's going to take a lot in that situation, obviously. And savvy defenders take advantage of that when they can. Hoyt to toss it back into play.
Oh.
Bouncing through. Bones slid it to the middle. Alashe!
Boy.
Missed it.
What the player, I didn't see, I don't know if we can get a replay of that, but I don't know whether it was Forbes who let it go through his legs or whatever and surprised everybody.
Greenspan signaling toward Bob Lilly, who was obviously displeased about that one.
Oh, no, it didn't go through his legs. He just got outpaced on the ball and a little flick through, catching two players there, both looking at each other. Who's got this play, you know?
The former Michigan Stater,
there's a great opportunity.
Here comes Brett. He is yanked around by the scruff of his neck, basically, outside the penalty area, to be clear. But that's an easy yellow, obviously. Prevented a scoring opportunity. Did that foul.
And this is what Nico's Brett's been complaining to the referee all night, I think. He's been being yanked and pushed and being harassed. And you just got to kind of, as a forward, you just got to take your opportunity when you can get it. And the best way to take care of that is putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, well, speaking of opportunities, here comes one. The card will go to Blake Smith, 27-year-old Texan who, or pardon me, that was Lasso, excuse me. 3, not 23. So Forrest Lasso, one of the star defenders in this league, decided to latch onto the jersey. And the kick will be about a yard outside the 18. Pretty good angle here, though, Paul, to make something happen.
A little bit close, though, Matt. It's tough to get the ball up and over the wall and get it down from that close in, unless he's just going to drill it and hope that one of the players in the wall kind of ducks out the way or turns his back, which they normally would do.
5 hounds in the box. Romeo Parks runs up and strikes it. It's off the wall and up into the air. Well, there's another block. We talked about Cincy leading the league in blocks. Tack on 2 more tonight at least. Dabo on the regroup. Hounds recycle it, and Dan Lind will do the honors at this moment. Dan Lind, first-year Hounds keeper. Stat keepers have 4 blocks on the board for the visiting team. In fact, they're on a nice pace, and that's a credit to the Riverhounds, though, for creating those chances. On that free kick, though, Parks could not get it high enough.
No. And that's what I was saying, you know, Matt, it's really difficult to get it up and over and down again. And unless somebody in the wall is going to just, you know, turn his back or duck, that's the only chance you've got. But
it does happen. Dover, great ball here to Forbes. What can he do? Offside, Nico Brett just ahead of where he should have been.
Way too late pass there. Took a lot of time to figure that one out, and Nico Brett was already 1 yard offside.
Forrest Lasso was over there, and he had his hand up immediately. So here in the 37th minute, Spencer Richey will put the foot to it. Cincinnati has 1 game remaining after this at Nashville. Pittsburgh has 2, another 2-game week. They'll play 6 games in their last 23 days of the regular season, will the Hounds. At Atlanta Wednesday and at New York Red Bulls 2 on Sunday. That'll be the final game of the regular season.
Well won there by Parks.
Any team. Parks rising high, and there's Brett and Forbes. The Jamaican trio teams up to take that ball briefly, and Parks is on this.
He's still
trying to pull it through with him, and he's unable to do so.
Boy.
He went down to a knee. Francois bails him out. And now Cristiano runs to open space over to the near wing.
3 different players there bumbled that ball through the defenders and were just battling away and came out with it.
Dover, an incisive ball there, trying to connect with Parks. Could not. Then Dover steps to, and looked like he got
Referee
stepped
not
on,
calling.
but play continues. Referee Tattersall unimpressed
Yeah, he's
by what
letting-
he feels to be a sales job, I'm guessing, from Dover. But the Riverhounds are back on that ball. Their pressure game is working to a T. Dover just now getting up. He's in some distress. Romeo Parks to Dover.
But
He's recovered enough to cross this in, and Lasso heads it out for another corner, Pittsburgh. Their third.
Referee's making some strange calls, to be honest with you. I mean, on both teams, he's not calling any tackle, real physical tackles or late tackles, and kind of calling, you know, some. And that's why the players are getting really frustrated with him and talking to him right now, because he's letting a lot of things go, and he should be getting a grip of it.
The 30-year-old Ben Zemanski puts his foot to it. Headed back toward the 6, inadvertently by Cincinnati. And then both Parks and Francois wanted to take a swing at it, and then neither did. A little too deferential in that spot. Dabo dishes Dover.
Nice ball. Oh,
Francois
did well there.
Last-second recovery. He still has it. Francois, another cut in. Richey the save. Big rebound. Francois puts it toward the post, and punch clear by Richey.
Hounds really putting some pressure on here. They've got to keep it going.
Here they come. Parks wanted to step around and fell down. Counterattack on for Cincy.
I don't know what Parks was
Welshman
thinking
got
there.
it by Greenspan, but recovering Dabo to slide tackle it out. And that gets an appreciative hand from a Hounds fan base in the stadium that was nervous about that. Rush up field from FC Cincinnati. McLaughlin. LaHood. One touch and then cracks it over to Forrest Lasso, who has to get on the end of it.
Yeah, not a very good ball to him. He couldn't make anything happen real quick, so now he's sent a long one down into the right corner.
McLaughlin has it taken from Vonkie Azil, and that's a throw for the Hounds.
Yeah, he did well there as Vonkie O'Neill getting a turn and playing it off the Cincinnati player.
Thomas Vonkie Azil in a back position tonight. He's been more employed as a defender in the last month or so.
Yeah.
The rookie has been a Swiss Army knife for the Riverhounds. I've said that multiple times. We'll take a look back at Francois' opportunity.
Whoa.
Richey, well, he couldn't handle it. Too much mustard on that shot, but the keeper recovered to punch it clear.
Yeah, a little unsighted too. Matt, there was a player in front of him and he saw it the last second, and that's why I think he didn't really get a hold of it.
Must have been. It's a very similar shot to the one that Francois took a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
That Richey handled with no rebound. Zemanski, good touch inside sideline.
And
knocked forward by Brett, but Francois couldn't make much of that hot pass.
Bob Liller giving some instruction there. Wanted to see these guys really keep Cincinnati in their end of the field.
Hoyt up into the night sky. Greenspan, it's been a great battle with Welshman, and Welshman wins the foul here.
Yeah.
And Alan Koch is happy about that. He was screaming for a call.
And you just never know what this referee's going to call, you know what I mean? So defenders are like hesitant, and when they do make an effort to try and get in there, you know, it's Welshman's, as I say, he uses his body really well, backs into players and draws these fouls situations or making them look like he's being impeded.
Welshman standing at, just listed at 5'11". It looks like he's bigger than that.
Yeah.
At any rate, as you mentioned, stocky, strong player. 4 goals, 4 assists on the season. Here's Ledesma.
I think he's going to go real far this time. No, short post.
Right in low, probably too low for his liking. Zemanski on the clearance. Ledesma right back into the mix, but couldn't get it past Mohamed Dabo. The flashing header from Brett. He would have had Forbes for a break. It might have been a clean break from midfield, in fact, but didn't get through.
Offside. Huh. It looked like there was too many players back there for him to be offside, but we're at a funny angle, and obviously the linesman is right on top of it.
Lynn to take this one, as I remind you that you can watch highlights from every game of the season and stay up to date with news from across the USL on the league's official Facebook page. Coming down with this ball, Alache cracks it up to midfield, and he was cracked himself after he let it go. Zemanski protesting.
I'd say this was a strange call again. I'm sorry, I keep seeming to sound like I'm getting on the referee, but it's a strange call. I think it was Forbes that went up in the air with him and really never went up with his head, like got knocked over, and referee giving Cincinnati the free kick.
Fatai Alashe in some difficulty. He gets a hand from his keeper, Spencer Richey. Now, speaking of social media before, you can get the best photography from around the league, plus highlights and updates on the USL's official Instagram feed. Follow us at Instagram.com/USL Soccer. Tough to eyeball it here, Paul, and tell who's really had the better of possession time. I would say probably the Hounds have had the better chances, though, on the aggregate. Cincinnati came out strong. Welshman tumbles down as Roberts just backed out and left him standing there without the post he was leaning on.
Yeah, really.
Up the middle from Barrett, but right through the legs of Alashe. Pittsburgh clears this one. Brett had his head bumped by Barrett.
Boy,
Barrett's an intimidating figure. Here's McLaughlin.
McLaughlin just
couple of assists last week.
That's a great ball.
Strong cross there. Ledesma on the end. Ledesma right through. Big rebound from Lind, and he gathers it before it skitters into danger.
That was a great switch of play. Player wide open, getting it down and taking a good shot. And Lind really doing well with the second, the rebound, and getting his hands in the way and got smacked.
You see, he might have gotten stepped on. And Welshman, Emery Welshman, to his credit, stayed there to apologize. I believe he was the one who got the spike down on Lind's finger.
Yeah, because he did well to jump on that rebound, because as we saw, you'll see in some of the highlights, I think, Cincinnati really pounds on those kind of situations.
It's tense, it's taut, it's tight through 45 minutes.
Oh,
adding to that postseason feel, crushed was Mohamed Dabo. Just outside his own penalty arc, Ledesma ran right through him.
Yeah,
actually, that was Dover. He's way back there helping out. We'll add 1 minute of stoppage time. We're getting back to that Ledesma shot. He skipped it along the turf. Cincinnati does play on an artificial surface as well, so they should be accustomed to some of the tricks that the turf can play. You might be able to skip one that you wouldn't be able to do so on grass.
Yeah, and they got the forwards, kind of like Nico Brett, looks for those kind of like rebounds, ricochets, you know, anything bobbling around just inside the box. And that's a great ball
Since
there.
he's looking for one here, McLaughlin had some trouble with it, though, and Lynn slides through, but ends up ultimately letting the ball pass through.
McLaughlin was unlucky there, Matt. He did a great combination with both feet. If he'd have got the right touch on that, he would have been one-on-one with the keeper, and he just didn't get the bounce he needed there.
Fatai Alashe has come alive in the last 10 minutes or so. The midfielder from the state of Michigan, as I said, formerly with the San Jose Earthquakes. You can see the quality there.
Yeah.
As he's here on loan. Alashe, one of those late additions for Cincinnati. There's the double whistle, and there's 45 minutes in the books. It's been enjoyable, but no goals on the board yet here from Pittsburgh. 0-0 at the half, and it looks like two top teams in the East, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. I mean, both teams knocking on the door here, you know, creating some chances, some good opportunities for Cincinnati towards the end, and the Hounds just before that getting 2 or 3 opportunities from corner kicks and high balls into the box that got knocked back, and people trying to get chances on goal. It's been exciting. I think it's been great for the fans, and it's been good for me anyway.
We're all riding the emotional wave as it gets later and later in the USL's regular season. And we're going to be looking ahead to potential playoff matchups for the Riverhounds in particular, as they're probably going to finish either second or third. We'll take a gander at prospective opponents on the other side of this break on ESPN+. Stay with us from Pittsburgh's Highmark Stadium.
A lot of clients ask us what makes us different. The first thing that comes to mind for me is Joyce's signature collection. We truly are jewelers. We're passionate about jewelry. We understand the process of making jewelry and what it takes to make the highest quality product at the best value. We travel the world to bring back and create the most unique diamond jewelry collection that you will find anywhere. If you've never shopped Joyce's, I personally invite you to visit our store. I know you're gonna love it.
At Joyce's Jewelry.
The most important thing to me was that my children were not scarred by me having breast cancer. I just wanted to be mom. And this is mom, and mom is going through something hard, but mom can do it.
For us, we understand like life is so finite. We need to enjoy it now, you know?
Absolutely.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with the region's highest rated health system for women's health, Allegheny Health Network.
Through the years, you've done right by investing in your home. And now, you can use that equity to borrow money for the things you need. With a low 1.99% APR and no fees, you can apply for a home equity loan online and use the money to upgrade to that minivan, make home improvements, or finance college. At Clearview, we can help you find ways to use the equity in your home for more important things. Let us help. Visit us online for more information. Clearview Federal Credit Union, the next generation of personal banking.
Well, with the Riverhounds officially in the playoffs, we can look ahead to the USL Cup postseason. For the first time since 2015, Pittsburgh will be involved. Here tied 0-0 at the half against East-leading Cincinnati. We're going to take a look at some prospective opponents here. I'm Matt Geica with Paul Child. Riverhounds against Bethlehem this year. Paul, this might be the best matchup. And as of right now, it's looking like the 3-6 matchup. It's the most likely situation for Pittsburgh. They'll face Bethlehem. Oh, here you see a fine goal scored, but overall the Riverhounds have had the edge in shots and chances, and they've won both matchups.
Yeah, I would think the Hounds would really like to get against Bethlehem, and because they've done so well during the regular season, and you can see right here, they give them such a hard time when they're attacking. Their defense is really has a tough time getting control of it.
One of the more wide open teams in USL, or at least in the East, as far as squads we've seen. And look at the shot differential, 43-10 in the two matchups, and that's one here and one out there in Eastern Pennsylvania. In fact, that game earlier this year here at home against Bethlehem, that might have gotten the Hounds' attack going. They scored 4, and they haven't looked back since. Well, if it doesn't work out that way, it'd be a different setup altogether against Indy 11. Yes, we've seen some wild finishes in this season series, but Indy's more of a veteran squad, Paul, so they're going to make you work for your goals. No, definitely. I think Indy would be a tougher team to go against because they've come in here and they've done really well, and they've kept in the games right till the very, very end. And they would be a much tougher opponent compared to Bethlehem. Of course, as I say, they make you earn your goals. Francois just walks that one in past the keeper, but that was the exception that proves the rule. A couple of ties, in fact, in the season series. 0-0 and 2-2, and then 3-2 here just a couple of weeks ago. But again, you look at the shot differential, you look on target, you could argue the Riverhounds have had the better of the games against Indy. And especially if it's here, yes, I think it's advantage Pittsburgh. Yeah, definitely an advantage to Pittsburgh playing here. But as you said, on target shots, I look at that more than anything. And Indy's really in there with Pittsburgh. Well, speaking of teams that can defend quite well, Nashville, maybe the only real defensive rival for the Riverhounds in the Eastern Conference at least. And Nashville, one of just 3 teams to come in here and beat the Riverhounds this season. This was a late decider back in May. 1-0 was the final here, ball bouncing through Hugh Roberts' legs. But overall, it hasn't been the most electrifying season series. It was 0-0 in the opener for both teams way back in March. But it would be interesting to see because they haven't played in a while, so it might be a little bit different. Who knows?
I think so. After this amount of time that's gone through, and both teams have played against a lot more different styles of teams and competition, so I think it would be a good matchup. And again, I would think that the Hounds have that little slight edge over Nashville, obviously playing at home.
That 1-0 loss earlier, that was very emblematic of the Riverhounds' early season schedule at home. They would control everything, but unable to put a ball past the opposing keeper. So if you're looking for bright silver linings, that would be it, to say that Pittsburgh did control the play, especially here, that first matchup in Nashville. Rainy day, both teams trying to shake off the preseason rust and get going. I don't know how much I'd read into that one. It's also possible that the Hounds could take on Ottawa Fury. It's been a while since they played them here. There's Toby Adewale scoring the only goal of a 1-0 victory. This was in April, so again, it's difficult to say. Ottawa has hung around the periphery of the playoff race all year long, so give them credit for that. But if the Hounds could get a couple of goals, they would probably win a matchup against Ottawa Fury.
Yeah, you would think so, but you know what? Ottawa's turned things around. They started off really slow at the start of the season. I think they had like 7 games away from home, and that made a difference. And they've really, really pulled themselves together and got themselves back in the playoff picture. So could be a tough one, but again, it should be the Hounds coming away with a victory there, you would hope.
Pittsburgh put on a defensive clinic against Ottawa back in July. That was up there. All right, we're going to take a step out and present to you some exciting news in the USL. If you didn't see it, you're about to see it here on the broadcast on ESPN+, and we'll return on the other side of this to talk about it. I'm Matt Geico with Paul Child. Keep it right here. Back here on ESPN+, Matt Geico with Paul Child from Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh. Well, Paul, you just saw it, the USL undergoing a dramatic rebranding for the 2019 season. And in fact, just as the offseason hits following the USL Cup, that's when the transformation will officially occur. This league, formerly known as USL, will now be the USL Championship. And there you see League One and League Two lined up underneath. Reminds a lot of the English format, doesn't it, for English football?
It's definitely the English League, where the Championship is behind the Premier League, and second division and third division, and it seems like it's a great idea for everybody around the world because they all have this kind of system. So I think it's going to be excellent, and it gives you a great idea, the championship, and then MLS being the Premier League in the United States at the moment.
And the league formerly known as the PDL, that'll be League 2, and League 1 will be what we were calling initially Division 3. So going for simplification and also a defined brand for each. Well, there you see a record season attendance, second best weekly mark, in fact, just happened this past weekend, and we have over 2.5 million fans who have streamed through turnstiles in this league. Still, though, you look ahead to the playoffs, though, Paul, and 7 of the postseason berths are up for grabs, so I think the league's got to be pleased with that, with all the parity.
I think they've got to be really pleased with that, Matt. You know, it just shows you how the league is strengthened, and the players, the quality of the players now, and we're starting to see more and more talent coming from all over the world and playing in the USL, which is fantastic for the fans.
So many up for grabs in the Eastern Conference, too. The bottom half of the playoff field. We don't know what's going to happen yet, which is part of the beauty of it. But to help us paint that playoff picture, if you will, we'll see these fixtures coming up this week in the East. Atlanta United, that'll be the Hounds' next opponent. In fact, coming up on Wednesday, they'll have a Sunday matchup against Charleston, so maybe the Hounds can take advantage of some weary legs down there in Georgia. New York Red Bulls, too, just trying desperately to get back into the playoff field. They were in it for so long. There you see Lou City against North Carolina, not an easy assignment for the defending champs. And Nashville, another one of those teams right on the borderline, trying to climb back in. So those are some key ones to look for this week as you scan ESPN Plus and look for some interesting soccer, including you go out west Wednesday, our final USL game of the week on ESPN3. Paul, Las Vegas wrapping up its first season. Phoenix Rising, a team to watch in the West, though.
Yes, I've watched Phoenix Rising, and
Hello, Shanti. How are you
Hi,
today?
Rose. Good, thank you.
How's this pressure for you, okay?
Yes.
I'm going to do nice and light today for you.
Visit ahn.org/cancer to learn more about the Cancer Institute at Allegheny Health Network.
The Riverhounds Technical Training Academy is back this winter at the AHN Sports Complex at Cool Springs. The 15-session program runs from December to March and is loaded with skills development taught by professional players from around the world. Registration opens in August. Sessions begin December 1st. Find out more by emailing wintertraining@riverhounds.com or by calling 412-325-7238.
All right, that's enough, you two. Don't paint your brother. No, you can't eat the clay. What can I say? Moms just know. I'm Christine Sorensen, and as a mom, I know parents know a lot. But for the few things we don't know, there's Kidsburg, your go-to resource for all the great things in our area for kids and families. Everything from kid-friendly events, creative learning, and help for parents. It's every Wednesday on KDKA TV, emailed to your inbox and online at kidsburg.org.
Well, you just saw it there, Phil the Mark. The Hounds are trying to get a packed house here for the first playoff game in Highmark Stadium history 2 weeks from tonight. But as for tonight's proceedings, it's a pretty significant matchup against FC Cincinnati, 0-0 at the half. We take a look at the statistics, and I was just saying before the end of the half, Paul Child, that it was tough to ballpark possession. It felt pretty even, and there you see, by the numbers, it is.
Yes, it really is, and obviously with the shots, we knew there were 11 shots, but we only got 3 on target, and Cincinnati had 2. And great opportunities and good goalkeeping in both cases. And Cincinnati 3 times offside, Pittsburgh just once. So 1 yellow card. They look good right now. And I'm sure they're going to come out trying to get this second half going right from the beginning, Matt, and really put some pressure again back on Cincinnati.
Some out-of-town scores for you. Bethlehem leads 1-0 over Indy. That could really determine who plays the Hounds in the first round here in 2 weeks' time. That's at the half. Red Bulls, too, trying to cling to hopes of getting back in the playoff field. A win would do it. It would put them in a good spot, knocking Ottawa down. They're up 1-0 against North Carolina. And Nashville, a 2-0 lead against Richmond on the road. So Nashville SC, New York Red Bulls 2. They're both on the outside looking in. They'll be on the inside looking out if those results hold after tonight. We're getting down to it. Not too many opportunities left to grab points. Cincinnati's won 10 games in a row. That's a USL record. The Riverhounds have never beaten FC Cincinnati in 8 attempts. 0-5-3 are the Hounds, including 0-1 here earlier this season. Paddy Barrett plays it on his keeper, Richey, and off we go in the second half of play. The Riverhounds attacking left to right. One of the few times this year they'll be shooting toward the Steel Army in the second half.
Hopefully it'll be a good one for them, because the Army would love to see some goals going in that nice pink net down there, Matt.
Yes, the netting pink for breast cancer awareness, as we said. Also fan appreciation night. The fans have those thunder sticks. That might be a brand name, I'm not sure. But that's what they called them back in the day when the Anaheim Angels put them into action. Early 2000s, that's the first I remember seeing them. But if you hear some of that extra racket, that's why. Kind of a broken play, but Parks is going to have a chance to slide one through. Brett turns, loose ball, and cleared out.
I don't think Brett got the kind of hit on that ball that he really wanted there, because he caught everybody by surprise. When he spins like that, defenders are not ready for it, and that's a great ball up front.
Serve back to Brett, bounces one wide of the near post. Fatai Lashe was the player who made the initial saving attempt, but right there, we saw Michael Lahoud a little slow to close out on Brett, and he nearly took advantage, didn't Nico?
Yeah, here we're going to see it again, and there's like a chop at the ball and kind of hitting it down into the ground and kind of off target. But if it had been on target, it could have caused the keeper some problems for like a rebound or something like that up this turf.
It's really instructive to look at the goal-scoring leaders for these teams. Brett has 15 to pace the Hounds. Now 7 back of the league leader, Cameron Lancaster of Lewis City. But the next closest teammate to him is Romeo Parks with 5. And now Parks is down and he's hurt, appearing to grab his midsection like maybe he took an elbow or a knee to a sensitive area. He is struggling to rise up as the ball is played all the way over on the other side of the pitch.
Yeah, I think
the referee, Eric Tattersall, will stride over to take a look at him.
I think it was the ball that more than anything just drilled right into his midsection, and he's winded right now. And
struggling to get up, Romeo Parks scored a gorgeous goal, a double cutback, if you will, at Charlotte last Saturday. And Parks will get the escort from Tattersall back into the action.
Bob Lilly offering a bottle of water there, and I don't know what that was going to do for him, but standing there like, have a drink, that might help, but I don't think it really would have done anything for him.
I don't think so. I think he just needed some time, did Parks, and he eventually got it. I believe the fourth referee, Sam Reynolds, radioed over to Tattersall to let him know that Parks was down. You and I were commenting off the air. The first half seemed like it flew by because it was frantic action up and down. The Riverhounds ended up with 11 shots toward the goal. And Cincy had their opportunities. The best one from Emmanuel Ledesma, who usually buries those, but not this time. Ledesma gets a touch. Bone through. Welshman trying to step back and change pace as he's run into by a couple of Hounds. Bone wide. McLaughlin right through. Pinball. And Dan Lind has it tracked.
Yeah, a lot of bodies over there. That ball was like ricocheting around and didn't know where it was going to go. And it's a good job. Lind just got onto that one, stopped it going any further.
Jimmy McLaughlin, I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, former Harrisburg City Islander. He has 100 career appearances now for Cincy. So he's become a fixture here as we take a look at play moving up the center of the field, dragging back Fatai Lashe. Over to Justin Hoyt. He gets it right back there from McLaughlin. Corbin Bone, 9 goals on the season. To Lasso. Good firm ball there to Smith.
Cincinnati, good combinations right now, keeping the ball and keeping possession. Got about 10 or 12 passes in right here, and just trying to draw somebody out and create some openings, I think, behind the Riverhounds defense.
You can sometimes tell what they talk about at halftime with how they play coming out, both teams I'm referring to. And I'm guessing Alan Koch wanted his squad to ping it around a little bit to try to poke and prod and make the Riverhounds chase.
Yeah, make them wear them down a little bit, and because they were putting so much pressure on there. Oh.
Running after that, Alashe, he takes a spill, but no call forthcoming against Pittsburgh. You can get an inside look at life on and off the field from a player's perspective every Wednesday evening in the latest edition of From the Pitch. That's From the Pitch. You can find it at uslsoccer.com. And also go to uslsoccer.com to vote for September's Player of the Month, Goal of the Month, and Save of the Month. That begins on Thursday afternoon, and it'll run through the weekend. Have your say in which players take home the hardware. 51st minute. Ohio River rivals. It's sad to say that they won't be in the same league next year, but thrilled for Cincinnati, which has embraced this squad since it came into existence 2 years ago. What a rise from nothing to MLS in 3 seasons.
Yeah, that's for sure. They've done a great job there, and obviously have got the fan support. And
Lind has to head this one. That's a new one this year, I think.
Yeah.
But he was out of the area, so the hands were off limits. Good job turning that one around by Jordan Dover, deep in his defending third.
Oh.
Brett nearly snagged that square ball from Lasso to Barrett. And now flick through, maybe an opportunity for Cincy on the attacking side. Laid back from Welshman to McLaughlin. McLaughlin working there against Vankiazil, who takes it away. Thomas Vankiazil had a great game at Cincinnati about a month ago in that same position, in fact, over on the left side of the back line. Forbes has some room. Bernardo Forbes, we haven't called his name too much tonight. He hasn't really been the field general to the nth degree like we've seen in recent games. But now he'll get this ball. Forbes cracks it left.
That was, he'd love that one back, I'm sure, there, Matt, because he had a great opportunity, and you could see him kind of like setting himself up, and Francois giving him a really good ball there. And
it really was a terrific setup. Francois, who came into this game tied for the team lead in chances created.
Nice cut back.
It was terrific, and Forbes, it had the look of a goal. He has already set a career high with 4. 8 assists, that's also a career best. Bernardo Forbes, his most productive season as a 30-year-old. You don't see that too often. Maybe he's peaking late. Maybe he's got the right setup here in Pittsburgh. Familiar coach and Bob Lilly, his former boss in Rochester.
Yeah, we've seen him hit some great shots from outside that box, and he just couldn't quite get on that one. But
Francois again, look at Barrett, though, saved the day to swipe it away from Brett, who looked like he had a step. Greenspan drubs it upfield, but taken by Corbin Bone. But Bone gave it right away. Francois to the middle behind Parks, who looks back in dismay. Right in front of us, it's Smith, the wingback. Sending one for Ledesma. Dabo guides it out, gives his team a chance to regroup. And Ledesma will leave it for Blake Smith. Deep throw. Roberts rising over the top, and the call goes against Welshman of Cincinnati.
Yeah, Welshman uses his body, as we've been saying, numerous times here, where he backs into the player, and the player is forced to go over the top of him, which tends to give the referee gave a free kick against the defender for climbing up his back. But this time the referee really getting on top of that one and seeing it's right from the beginning and giving the Hounds a free kick.
This is the 99th match, all competitions included, in Highmark Stadium history. Riverhounds match, that is. Fittingly, the playoff game in 2 weeks will be number 100. It's great when it plays out poetically like that on an even number. The Hounds all time, 4 games above 500 here on the banks of the Mon. It's been their home since 2013.
Oh,
Easy
well.
read there from Bunky Azil. He took the step up opportunity. Got it by Bone. Here's a combination play by Forbes, but it's intercepted.
Yeah, kind of was a good setup there, and then just the final pass, just not in the right place. A little bit out of the way for the play.
Welshman held it up, and McLaughlin joins the party over there on the riverside of the field. Lahoud, 32-year-old from Sierra Leone. Back to Barrett, native of Ireland. And here's Forrest Lasso. Allows Brett to run by. Good poise from Lasso. Flick attempt from Alashe. Never had a chance.
No, Welshman and he, I think, just didn't really get on the same page with that one. And he was looking for Welshman to make a run. But Welshman was waiting for him to just hold the ball up, I think.
And Dan Lind of Rochester, New York, will take his time. First-year Riverhound Dan Lind has already set the single-season record with 11 clean sheets. Greenspan on it, but a little too hard for Francois to pull in.
Yeah, really took that ball down with the outside of his right foot. Tough to do that when it's coming and spinning at you that way. And he had a lot more time than he realized, I think.
Greenspan has it taken by Justin Hoyt.
Oh,
Brett horizontal, still made the pass, and then Forbes has his foot taken out. Quick restart for the Hounds. Francois, the cut in, now right back, crossing. He was trying to find Zemansky. Was that out or in?
It's a corner kick.
It is a corner.
Yeah. Referee waiting for the linesman's call on that, and so was the Riverhounds. Here's an opportunity here to get on the board and start opening things up.
Let's break the ice. Cincinnati has not lost in 21 matches.
Greenspan taking his time coming up here. I think he's got a little bit of a knock or something. Matt, he's really kind of hobbling over there. And we need somebody like that in the box just to cause some problems.
He's twice scored off headers. This in the direction of Roberts, though. Richey punches it out. Spencer Richey has been called upon a few times. He's come up with the goods every time. Sent right back into the mix, though, quickly by Dover, trying to catch Cincinnati napping, but to no avail as the ball sailed too far.
And down the middle of the field, too, he's not the best place for it. He's got to go wide from there, and hopefully somebody can get on the end of it and cut inside with it.
It's the orange and blue against the black and pink tonight of the Riverhounds. Usually black and gold. Just a different look to this one. In the final home match of the regular season, this is the longest regular season in Riverhounds history. Home matchup number 17. Well, 18 if you count the cup game. There's never been more opportunities to check out the Riverhounds, and they'll have at least one more in the playoffs. That's the most exciting part of it. Greenspan winning that physical battle against Welshman. That's been quite the showdown tonight. Zemansky knocks it off the leg of Bone.
Didn't really have much else he could do with that, but he did well in getting that ball back, winning it for a throw-in. And there's just a wild kick. And Forbes there, is that
Roberts?
Roberts, sorry. I thought he could have headed that back to Lind, actually, but decided to just go out wide with it and give it back to Cincinnati.
Hugh Roberts made the USL Team of the Week last week. Former All-USL defender when he was a Richmond kicker. Ledesma, good strong cross, or maybe even a cross/shot. You would have been happy if it went in, of course, but it missed the upper 90 by a good 2 or 3 feet.
That was a tweener, Matt.
Well, I've seen him score from there this season, so I almost felt like when he lets it go with that deadly left foot, it has a chance. Emmanuel Ledesma, 16 goals. Cincinnati has a 10-goal man on the bench available tonight in Nasby Al-Badawi. We'll see if we get a look at the 27-year-old later tonight. Getting close to the hour mark. Forbes. There was Forbes trying to get to that ball. Knocked away from him. Dover on the throw to Canardo. Looking to cross that. It's off the bottom of the boot of Lahoud. Forbes again. He has Parks in the area. He has Brett stepping to a little bit further back. The throw-in is to Romeo. On his left foot, Parks been better in the second half of the season, more effective, more consistently.
Yeah, he was looking for Francois there, and then Francois just kept coming back. He wanted to get into this top of the
Well,
box
here
situation.
he is, steps around a tackle, in for Parks, but his pass did not connect. I think he was eyeing up Zemansky. Welshman making a run in case that ball gets through, but it did not. Greenspan and Roberts closed it down.
Yeah, really taking care of that well. Both of them that time really had a good understanding instead of like leaving it for each other. We've seen them do sporadically, but it was good to see them just really on the same page there.
Forbes the one touch, and he'll get his body in the way here to keep it alive. What will Romeo Parks do? He'll go right back to his countryman Forbes. Taking on Smith to the outside, crosses it back, opportunity for Brett, swing and a miss. Was it poked away by Lasso? I think it was. The crowd groans though. Brett has a second chance at it. A little too far away from his left foot to strike it. Now he reconnects. Forbes again, looks like a replay. Kennardo Forbes takes a crack. It's blocked by Alache, up into the air, and Brett gets called for the foul right near the penalty spot.
Yeah, he got right underneath him, under his back, and Nico Brett there, a little bit casual, you know. I
thought so too. I thought he could have been a little more deliberate to try to get that ball on line.
Because he did a great job cutting it back to him, and then, well, if he missed it, he kicked it himself.
He just missed it altogether. That's well, that's why the groan was there. I just assumed that a Cincinnati defender got a foot in there because you don't see a miss like that from a professional that often.
No,
it does come up.
Oh yeah, it happens, and that's what happened. He caught it with his right foot and touched it and knocked it out of the area where he wanted to strike it with his left.
Well, the Riverhounds remain on the front foot, and demonstrating that is Francois taking on Hoyt, but not enough on that ball and really not close enough to his runners.
No, wishful thinking with that pass, but kind of stumbled when he was trying to go by the defender there and never really got caught up with the ball.
Oh, news from out of town. Charlotte Independence up 2-0 on Tampa. That could, for all intents and purposes, eliminate the Rowdies. I don't know if it would technically. Oh, Lind is out, and Welshman falls down.
Boy.
The turf monster got him again. That's the second time that he's tripped up, maybe on his own power, maybe because of a collision. He and Lind nearly avoided a side swipe.
Yeah, Greenspan there trying to flick the ball back, and he didn't really get enough on it, and Lind wasn't ready for it, and it took a weird bounce, like you said. We'll have to maybe get a look at that again, but that was a great opportunity for Cincinnati. It was no goalkeeper in the net, you know.
We'll take a look at that in a moment when we have the chance. Patty Barrett intercepts this ball. Talk about against the run of play in this second half. The Hounds have had the better of it, but Welshman nearly running free with the ball, but he couldn't stay on his feet. And Barrett takes the worst of a collision with Parks. Brett couldn't flag down this bouncing ball. That came from Kennardo Forbes. Substitution on the way for Cincinnati, and there is that man, Nazmi Al-Badawi. 10 goals, 4 assists on the year. He's getting ready to check in for Alan Koch's side.
I think that hit a Cincinnati player, and that's what Bubba is arguing about. And
Corbin Bones out, by the way.
Linesman missed it.
Bone out, Al-Badawi in, and really no loss of firepower. If anything, Cincinnati picked up a little bit more in terms of the attack in that exchange. The back heel from Welshman. Al-Badawi getting a first touch, but not a great opening possession for him. Brett wanting to send past Lasso. Parks on the run, but the defender Lasso right in that passing lane.
Yeah, Nico's got to maybe think about that a little bit before he just takes that little hit. And he's kind of been a little bit lethargic lately. And there's another trip.
And it will be called here eventually. It was committed way back near the midfield circle by Emmanuel Ledesma. And Ledesma delivering his own lecture before he throws the ball to Eric Tattersall. Dover was attempting to get a step on Emmanuel Ledesma.
Yeah, he clipped his heels and he kept his feet, but referee was smart there and did give him the ball.
Dabo has some trouble. Al-Badawi putting those fresh legs to use up near the top of the formation. He's in an attacking midfield position. Is Cincinnati's number 5. Played for North Carolina FC for 3 years, did Al-Badawi. And he deflects this attempted long ball from Hugh Roberts.
Yeah.
We're going to go all the way back to that chance for Emery Welshman when he got behind the Riverhounds defense, took it away from Lind, and there might have been some contact there, but not enough for a foul.
No, definitely. The referee was on that one and wasn't going to give one. He kind of gets his feet tangled up here, and couldn't keep his balance and stay on his feet.
Goal kick for Cincy. Brett against Lasso, but Lasso could shield him away. Well, this season, the USL has made history as the league passed 2.5 million in total attendance for the 2018 season. On behalf of the league, thanks to all the fans who have made this the highest attended lower division season in North American soccer history, 2.5 million. For the league that will be known next year as USL Championship, Forbes, too forceful on that pass, too much.
Yeah, just not
on that ball.
Just not clicking together right now. Francois and Forbes, you know, the pass is a little bit long, a little bit short, not quite on the money, and kind of like gets players frustrated with each other a little bit. You know, you want them to, you've worked together all season and you want to make it work. And here's a great opportunity, breakaway here for Cincinnati.
Parks was a little casual, and wow, there's a blatant handball with Dover throwing the arm skyward. You better be careful. I've seen cards issued for less. Ledesma wanted to cross it from deep.
And now he's going to keep on pushing the ball forward every chance he gets.
Seems to be his move, doesn't it? Well, Dover, a reaction here, but not a productive one.
Yeah, he's
maybe just protecting his face, actually, and then he saw the ball coming and kept the arm up. Ledesma, danger zone for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, great opportunity again here.
In the 67th minute. Not many teams have shut down Cincinnati for 90 minutes. Still a long way to go. Great ball, but Greenspan is there to get on the end.
I think he hurt himself when he came down, or he seems okay. He did get back up.
That was Lasso, the central defender.
Oh, there's a great opportunity
trying to get his
here.
Fourth goal, and a takeaway from Francois. Gets the crowd excited with another run up the left flank. Francois into the area, and nearly an own goal as it bounced behind off of Hoyt.
Boy, I thought that was an own goal there. It looked it from here, but just went past the right post.
I think it fooled some of the fans here, too. We heard a cheer, and not just a corner kick type of a cheer.
No. Yeah, just the way it looked.
Corner kick number 5, none for Cincinnati in this match, by the way.
Here's an opportunity again. Both teams getting chances right here now in the 67th minute.
Francois, the in-swinger for us. Lasso has that one. Lasso at both ends, making his presence felt. Park slides through, but Brett lets it carry him off his foot.
That's a waste of a great opportunity there, Matt, in my mind. I don't know why Brett came to the near post, and the ball he was given, I don't know what he was going to do with it anyway. He had 3 defenders behind him, and he couldn't do much at all. So, you know, better ball would be bent in, away from the keeper, into the penalty spot, and have somebody coming in from the far post and maybe have a chance at it. But didn't happen, so we're back on. Here we go again.
And Dabo
overran the ball again.
Maybe stumbled on the ball itself. Al-Badawi to Ledesma. To the midfield stripe, and Smith Cincinnati has one loss on the road all year. 11-1-3 are the regular season champs. What a season it's been for them. 23 victories. Francois, unimpressed by all that, takes that from McLaughlin. A few feet inside the touchline. Francois, I love to watch him shift speeds there as he keeps opponents at bay. It's really interesting how he uses that, that transmission, if you will, of his to go from third to fifth, back to fourth.
Changing gears, yeah, definitely down the sideline. And
he's definitely a manual, I'll put it that way, not an automatic transmission.
No.
Both supporters groups up in full throat. The Steel Army behind the goal to our right, and in the stands to our right near corner, the Bailey, the blue and orange fan group that has supported this FC Cincy team quite vehemently for 3 seasons. Home or road. Dover, left footer, too deep for Brett, but a missed touch from Barrett gives Francois the ball. Francois to the outside and put it off the leg of Hoyt.
A corner kick coming up again.
It's starting to resemble that Louisville match a couple of weeks ago, Paul, when the Riverhounds had 15 corners. They just piled them up, but couldn't take advantage of any of them.
Exactly, and both of these teams have been doing really well very late in the games, as we saw the highlights of, and keeping in it. So.
Yeah, Cincinnati has been known, especially lately, to strike in the final 15. Not quite there yet. Lasso once more. No Hound within a couple of feet of him, so that was a pretty easy flick clear header. Ben Zemanski. He's come alive attack-wise. Forbes a little too tall to get to that one from Parks.
Yeah, and I think Bob's getting on Parks' case because, I mean, he's on the right, but, you know, he's a big, tall guy. He's 6 foot some, and he's the guy knocking crosses into Nico Brett. And
should be the other way is what you're getting at.
Yeah, really.
A second substitution for Cincinnati. Tyler Gibson, the defender/midfielder, will take the place of Michael Lahoud. Lahoud out, Gibson in the 72nd. Pittsburgh has yet to use any of its 3 subs. Well, it's a change in pace from usual for the Riverhounds. They've scored multiple goals in 5 straight. They've allowed multiple goals in 5 out of 7 as well. Not to bury that lead. But nothing so far tonight. Parks couldn't corral that ball.
Yeah, that was a tough ball to do anything with. The only thing he was going to do is just make sure that Cincinnati didn't get it.
Zemanski flying through. Can he win this one? No. Patty Barrett with a flying kick.
Handball by Forbes there. But the high kick, the referee let go. So, you know, it's 6 of one and a half dozen the other. But giving Cincinnati a free kick. Good position again.
This is the last chance to get points at home in this regular season for the Riverhounds. They're 9-2-6 at Highmark Stadium this year. That's their best record ever in this facility. Now in its 6th season. Unbeaten in their last 7 here on the banks of the Mon. A header off the roof of the net. Dan Lind upset at himself. He mistimed his jump. And I want to say that was Al-Badawi who got some air. Hard to tell as FC Cincinnati sent several players into the box.
Yeah, Lind was a little bit uncertain there and kind of didn't know if he was going over the crossbar, and he just wanted to make sure, I think, by touching it. But
well, this is the first corner now.
And you can see they're crowding him out right now. Look at all the Cincinnati players standing right in front of the goalkeeper, inside the, actually 3 yards from the goal line. And obviously trying to just make it very difficult for him to even come out and win this ball, or any of the players, actually.
Ledesma's the trigger man. He has 15 assists on the year. Toward the back post. Headed skyward, but outward, fortunately, for the Riverhounds. And Zemanski just guides that one into touch.
Yeah, he got pushed in the back there as he headed the ball, and the referee, I don't think, caught that, but got it out of there, out of danger.
Justin Hoyt or pardon me, Smith, rather, will bounce this one in Dan Lynn's direction. And no trouble for the Riverhounds keeper. The 24-year-old missed several games last month, actually both in August and September, with broken bones in his face. He's now playing without that protective mask.
Looks like the Hounds are going to get a couple of subs too now with, I think it's Holland. Is it?
McLaughlin sent Parks flying. No call from the referees, and it ends up being a Cincinnati throw in front of the Riverhounds dugout. 2 substitutions upcoming for the Pittsburgh side. Joe Holland and Kay Banjo. Holland is in for Zemansky. These are both in the 75th minute. And Nico Brett is checking out for Kay Banjo.
Well, I think things just haven't gone right for him tonight at all, Matt. He wasn't getting the touch on the ball right, and not just him, but a few players tonight have really, their touch hasn't been perfect. It's been off cue a little bit, and I think that's why Bob's going to put 2 new guys in and hopefully some fresh legs and put some pressure again back on Cincinnati.
Kay Banjo scored the game-winning goal at Harrisburg 10 days ago. That clinched the Keystone Derby Cup and the playoff spot for the Riverhounds. Ended up being 2-0. Andy Lubon tacked on one in second half stoppage time, but it was Kay Banjo in the first half cleaning up the mess. Sliding tackle, speaking of mess, nearly one for the Riverhounds. But Greenspan actually was able to put that ball off of Welshman and win the goal kick. So he got both of them, did Greenspan. He was just trying to take the ball away, ended up winning possession too.
Yeah, he's got those long legs, and player got by him, and he's really stretched out there and did a great job of just getting a deflection off the attacker and getting a goal kick.
Joe Holland looking for his first touch on the ball. It's a good one, a flick in the direction of Banjo. Cleared out by Lasso. Lasso against Banjo. That's fun to say in the middle of the Riverhounds attack. A third of Pittsburgh's goals on the season have come in the last 15 minutes, and we are in the last 15 minutes. Both teams have been very effective in either adding on or coming back.
Over there trying to fake the defender out, but didn't fake him at all, and he reread it but got the free kick.
Kay Banjo, can he get around Lasso? Oh. He does, and knocks it across the face of goal where Parks was stationed, but over his head. Lasso maybe casual that time.
Yeah.
He assumed that the smaller Banjo wasn't going to be able to get to the ball. Joe Holland on the run, a little too far for him.
Yeah. You've got to chase after those balls, even though you know they're a little bit long, because you never know with the spin on the ball coming back off this turf. As you could see, when he got out of bounds, it's really slowed down again. It just didn't do it in the right place for him. But got to chase everything and let it go out before you quit on it.
Will this be one of those matches we remember from this 2018 season? There have been a few, especially lately for the Hounds at home. They've had more dramatics on the road overall, but that 3-match homestand last month featured the wild 5-goal second half against Indy, and also the 2-goal comeback in the final 5 minutes against Louisville City. Well, neither Smith nor Francois could get on the end of that ball. Smith gets a second look to McLaughlin, but gave it up, coughed it up to Mohamed Dabo, the Hounds' Senegalese midfielder. Francois, flag in the air. Is this going to be a foul called?
What?
I'm not sure what the situation is here. The assistant is speaking with Eric Tattersall in the middle, and Eric Tattersall appears to have overruled him. I thought with the flag up and Francois down on his backside, there'd be a foul against Cincinnati. Not to be. Sometimes I wish we had access to that radio channel between the officials. That would make things more interesting.
Yeah, it really would. Sometimes you catch it on NFL when the referee.
Yes.
Referee.
Yeah, let's talk to the folks at the USL for next season, maybe. Joe Holland, great flick, and a ball to Parks, but he couldn't recover and step back to it.
It already took off, and it was too late to get back. And
keep your eye on Joe Holland, a former top 10 pick in the MLS Super Draft, just last year, in fact. couldn't stick with Houston. And, yeah, the darndest time getting even on the bench for some of these games until lately.
Yeah, and he's come on and done really well for the Hounds, creating opportunities and scoring some goals as well. So
the Hounds took a flyer on Holland in the offseason, seeing if they could pull that potential out of him. He was a star at Hofstra, the college in the New York area. He was a member of the Dutch, was Holland, appropriately enough, as here is Forbes. Downshifting now, trying to get around and crossing. Lasso again. He's playing garbage man back there, cleaning up everything. And that's what he's here for on this Cincy squad. Holland, flashy back heel. Finds Vonkiazil, who sends it into the mix. Off the leg, though, of Alache. Banjo to a loose ball.
Corner kick, I think.
It did sail out over the end line from Lasso's foot.
Hounds putting some pressure on late again in the last 10 minutes here, Matt. They've got to, you know, capitalize on some of these if we can and take advantage of this corner situation. And it's tough against Cincinnati, obviously. They're a very, very good team in defense.
Not much time left. 7 corners for the Hounds. Number 7, Francois, took it, but again cleared out. Lasso patrolling that 6-yard box at 6'6". Jordan Dover. Last line of defense here, but it's a good ball. Chested down by Vonkiazil. Oh my, just high.
I thought the keeper had a touch on that, but obviously he didn't. The referee was right in front of him, but kind of sailed up a little bit higher than normal.
Third and final sub upcoming for Cincinnati. Russell Cicerone, you see on your screen. Just scored his first goal of the season last week, in fact, in a 3-0 whitewash of Indy 11 at Nippert Stadium. Cicerone will take the place of Emery Welshman, who's put in a heck of a shift tonight, I'll say. Can't question Welshman's work rate.
No, he's...
And we do take a second look. Vonkiazil nearly making something from that. Yeah. And on second glance, I don't think Richey did touch it. Just over his fingertips.
Yeah.
Would have been something on the half volley.
Yeah, he just needed to get over that little ball just a little bit more, try and hit it down instead of above. This goalkeeper's just wasting time like crazy.
Got to get that water bottle out of bounds. Never know what might happen. Spencer Richey on loan from the Vancouver Whitecaps, and in that Northwest theme, he was a standout at the University of Washington. Another college soccer player, Roberts, went up for that ball, and then a bear hug applied by Jordan Dover, who pulled down Emmanuel Ledesma. Dover saying, hey, he had me as much as I had him, but I don't think that protest is going to have any weight with Eric Tattersall. A foul in a critical area, and now FC Cincinnati can set it up.
Yeah, you're going to see some, both of them going at it right here, but Dover just being the most obvious.
So Roberts couldn't get to that ball. Cicerone was running free, and Dover, maybe he just held on the longest.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what it comes down to in those tie-ups.
Again, real good situation for Cincinnati is we've been down their end, and now they're in the Hounds' end.
The Argentinian Ledesma, not his best ball that time. And Pittsburgh dodges one. Into the 84th minute. The Riverhounds in pursuit of that number 2 seed. They can't afford to lose here tonight. That's what we can say when it comes to taking that, you would imagine. They do have 2 more games after this, so maybe I shouldn't say that.
Oh, great touch. Oh.
Maybe a handball against K. Banjo. The problem for the Riverhounds is they have to go on the road, number 1, for the final 2. They have to play 2 and 4 nights at Atlanta, then go up to New York, so not easy travel either.
No.
And they have to finish with more wins, or at least pull even in wins with Louisville, and then hope for the goal differential tiebreak to kick in. Right now, they are 3 points behind Louisville, are the Riverhounds.
See a little nudge there as he went to head the ball, but the referee lets it go again.
Tyler Gibson now playing on the back line, the second half substitute for Cincy. Foul, late whistle, Al-Badawi dumped by Forbes, but the call was not quick to come, was it?
No, I don't know. Again, it's just some crazy kind of calls.
And it's Al-Badawi again bumping Holland off the ball. Slides it wide, McLaughlin in, and Greenspan had to use a quick left foot to dispatch it. And a second corner for Cincy in the second half.
And this time they're leaving the keeper alone. They're not really packing it inside the 6-yard box like they were with the first one. They're going to take their chances kind of outside.
Also at stake for Cincinnati, a tie would have them tie the all-time unbeaten streak record in the USL. They're going for the win here, though, and Greenspan has to thwart that swing-in ball. Danger not over yet, though. Cicerone called for the foul.
Offside.
Or offside, excuse me. The flag was up all the way over there by the river. Sometimes tougher to see. The lights aren't as good in that back corner. You might be able to tell.
I think it's because of the river out there. Just the darkness. You kind of do lose it sometimes, don't you, Matt, when you're looking out there and you can't see the linesman's flag up. Or
it's not a typical backdrop, I'll say that much.
No, for sure.
And if you're watching on ESPN Plus for the first time, watching a match here in Pittsburgh for the first time, yes, there are plenty of bleacher seats in front of us where we're broadcasting from, but just a couple of rows over there in front of them on, and even those are new this season. Previously, it was standing room. But a really cool vantage point, maybe the best seat in the USL, in fact, just a couple of feet from the sideline. Jordan Dover looks like he has something in his eye. Not sure if he wears contacts. He was trying to wash it out with Dan Lynn's water bottle.
And Ray Lee coming in.
Ray Lee will be the Hounds' final substitute, it seems. And Dover is going to come out. Maybe he even asked for it.
Yeah,
he could have a contact lens situation.
Oh, nice little move.
Francois grounds it in, and it's a loose ball, but no Hound in the vicinity after Richey spilled it.
Again, that's where you got to do follow-ups, Matt. With this surface, you never know what's going to happen, and you get a little bounce. He didn't really lose too much possession of it, but he came out about a couple of yards.
Ledesma against Dabo over there on the perimeter. Dabo lets it ride for the goal kick.
Did a good job there, shielding the player off the ball and letting it go out of play to get possession again.
Ray Lee taking the place of Dover, wingback for wingback. Ray Lee, a left-footed player, though, so I'm curious if he skates over to the far wing, and yes, that's exactly what's happening. Vonkiazil will take this near side.
Yep.
And going back to that last Pittsburgh chance after Francois, for what seems like the 10th time, pulled off a successful cutback on the left wing of the field, but no one there for that rebound.
Yeah, and as I said, not much of a rebound in a good place, so...
Cicerone was sent down, flying, and then the ball skips right by Alashe, who would have had an opportunity if he could have cradled it for Cincy. Hoyt, a through ball attempt. Greenspan went right by him, and no foul called as Alashe is still trying to get up behind the play. On the counter, it is Cristiano Francois against Hoyt. To the left foot, right through.
Oh,
and Parks couldn't handle it, banged off his left heel. Maybe got his right instep as well on the way. Cicerone knocks it past Vonkiazil. Cicerone, a second half sub. So, you know, he has some wheels left, but Vonkiazil with better ball skills in that spot.
And that was a face elbow to the face there for Zvonky O'Neill, and referee let it go on.
Al-Badawi knocks it right side. McLaughlin able to control. McLaughlin against Ray Lee. Lee on him. McLaughlin gets that shot blocked. Fine work from Lee.
Yeah, he really didn't give him any room at all there and kept him at bay and did a good job. As just coming in too, trying to get his legs and get into the rhythm.
High pressure stuff. Bouncing ball near the 6. Ledesma's won the corner kick.
And the referees give a corner, and Here's a replay from Francois pinging that ball across, and the defender really getting a touch on that. And that's why Parks couldn't get on the end of it.
Well, that's what happened. I thought it was just a mishandle from Parks. It was actually off of a sliding tackle from Cincy. Near post, corner kick. And it wouldn't have counted anyway if it had gone home. The foul was whistled inside the 6 by referee Tattersall. Well, we're down to the 90th minute. There have been a few delays and some substitutions here, so there will be, I don't want to call it significant stoppage time, but enough stoppage time, I would imagine, for either one of these teams to break through. The Riverhounds really need a win, though, if they want to make a run at this 2 seed, you would imagine.
I think it's going to be 4 minutes, to be honest with you. I can see these guys.
Correct. We have the vantage point. We can snoop on it from up here. And 4 minutes will be the deal. We have reached the end of 90. The Hounds have scored stoppage time goals.
This is when both teams come alive.
Exactly. In their last 2 matches, both on the road, they got them. At Penn, at Charlotte. Banjo couldn't handle, though, there. He would have been 1v2, but could have at least pushed the Cincy back line a little. Forrest Lasso strikes it, watches it. Roberts wins the initial header, wins the second header, does Hugh Roberts.
Banjo with the...
Oh. Banjo sent a blind ball over in Francois' direction.
Yeah, he did. He really had no idea if somebody was over there, but he must have seen him earlier and then just tried to get it to him, and was a little bit unlucky there that he didn't find him.
Roberts uncontested on that header. Parks got the foot up in the face of Gibson, and that'll be called for the indirect free kick. Cincinnati minutes away from tying a USL all-time record.
Yeah, they're not
for unbeaten games.
Not in a rush at all.
They are not. Not to say they're playing for nothing here, but the unbeaten streak is really the most important thing they have left in the regular season. They're #1 in the East, they're #1 in the league. They'll have home field all the way through the playoffs if they need it, if they can manage to make their way all the way through. Francois could not get past. Blake Smith gets in the way.
He was trying to go through 4 players there at that time and really got away from a couple of them, but the 4th one.
Ray Lee did well to keep that in play. Joe Holland had a few promising touches early in his stint here, but not much since.
And Parks there, nice move by Parks.
Romeo Parks gets it away from defenders. Parks stepping back, and that was a deflected cross. I thought it might skip out over the end line, but instead it's in on Richey.
Yeah, he caught the defender, did well getting a foot on it, and took the power out of the ball too.
A couple of minutes into stoppage now. I am Matt Geica. Paul Child is alongside for the 17th and final USL home game of the season. Regular season for the Hounds. Number 18 in league play will be the first playoff game here ever in 2 weeks' time. We're all looking forward to that. This one's still in the balance, though.
The referee in the way.
Francois working the right side now. He's trying to do anything he can. Alan Koch says that ball's out, but it didn't appear to be. It was right on the line. Forbes slides it to Holland. The dangerous Joe Holland couldn't get that one past Smith. Bunky Azil wanted to connect with Banjo, but the throw was woefully short of him. Roberts, an over-the-shoulder desperation attempt. And he shakes his head at that execution. He wanted to force it and could not. And there will be
the coach
a few more
taking his
seconds
time.
taken here as the back Blake Smith got that ball ever so gently handed to him from the manager, Alan Koch, on the Cincinnati side. Throw in for the Riverhounds. This is probably their last look. 30 seconds most likely remaining in this contest.
Move there.
Cristiano Francois, he's been so good today, but he can't make the connection with Parks. Bunky Azil steps up, but unable to control. Cicerone, a deep one. Bit of a Hail Mary for Cincy now. That goes uncompleted, but Hoyt on the step-up maneuver.
Oh, Parks steals
Parks
it.
Putting in a defensive shift here. Strange to see him that far back, but he made the play. This assuredly has to be the last
And that's
thrust
what
for Pittsburgh. Lee, too far for both Banjo and Parks, and Holland puts his hands on his head. And that is all. That is all from Pittsburgh. We finish the regular season home slate here at Highmark Stadium with a 0-0 draw. A hard-fought, a well-fought game between two of the best teams in the USL, but no goals on the board. Both keepers get a clean sheet. Dan Lind keeps his lead in the race for the Golden Glove in USL, his 12th shutout of the year. The Riverhounds have 16 as a team to lead the league. Cincinnati right there, though, when it comes to defending. And, Paul, they showed their ability to at least get in the way of some chances. And I hate to use the cliche, but they did not break. They may have bent a few times, but they did not allow a single goal.
Definitely both teams had their opportunities as well, Matt. And nobody really capitalizing on it, you know, and getting a point. But it was a good match. You got to admit to that both teams were battling. 1 minute it was Cincy knocking on the door, and then the next 5 minutes the Hounds were back at the other end doing the same thing, and teams had opportunities, and keepers came up big when they needed to, and that was good to see. I mean, it was a great game. A lot of fans.
And if the Riverhounds want to make it into that #2 seed, they're going to have to go at least 1-0-1 on their upcoming road trip in order to overtake Louisville City, which is now really in that driver's seat for 2 home playoff games. We'll be back, stats and highlights, after this on ESPN Plus, 0-0 from Pittsburgh.
The Riverhounds Technical Training Academy is back this winter at the AHN Sports Complex at Cool Springs. The 15-session program runs from December to March and is loaded with skills development taught by professional players from around the world. Registration opens in August. Sessions begin December 1st. Find out more by emailing wintertraining@riverhounds.com or by calling 412-325-7238.
The most important thing to me was that my children were not scarred by me having breast cancer. I just wanted to be mom. And this is mom, and mom is going through something hard, but mom can do it.
For us, we understand like life is so finite. We need to enjoy it now, you know?
Absolutely.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with the region's highest rated health system for women's health, Allegheny Health Network.
Well, the Riverhounds have still never beaten FC Cincinnati. They're now 0-5-4. Bob Lilly chatting things over with his men after the conclusion of this one. I can't say it was dull, but if you like goals, you probably go home disappointed. Those boys from the Bailey aren't going home disappointed at all. They look like they're ready to party all through the night.
They got dressed up for this.
Yes, the orange and blue, very garish colors, and they show up quite a bit. Well, here we go. Full-time highlights, and take it way back to early in the first half. Paul Child, Emmanuel Ledesma, I don't think there was a better look for Cincy all evening.
No, that was a great move by him, cutting it inside and hitting it with his left. And Lynn doing really well, just making sure that wasn't going to go anywhere. And that was a quick near post shot by Francois. Really didn't catch the goalkeeper out of position. Maybe could have done something different with it.
So often Francois had a step, but just couldn't find that extra bit of quality. Well, here was a fine opportunity as well.
Oh, yeah, this
Alache,
yeah, he kind of went to the near post, and if you look to the far post, there was plenty of room over there to score. This one was kind of a stub shot, hit down into the ground. As I said, if he was on target, it may have had a chance with the rebound.
Nico Brett was not quite himself. Well, there, I hate to say it again, but one more time, Francois.
Yeah.
Hoyt, the saving tackle. You see Brett, you see Parks both frustrated. And Thomas Vonkie-Azil, well, this would have been a highlight for him, would have been a highlight around the league if he could have connected.
Yeah,
Richey leaping, but the drive goes about a foot over the bar.
Yeah.
And that was that for the second half. Look at those shots for the Riverhounds. 18, but only got 4
on target.
So plenty of blocks, a few misses thrown in there. I think the Hounds are going to look back at this one and say, yeah, there were a couple that we left out on the field. But the same could be said for Cincinnati. They had 1 or 2 inside the box.
No, they had some great chances. I think both teams had some great opportunities, Matt. And you got to give Cincy credit. I mean, on the free kicks and shots, the blocking by their defense was tremendous, and didn't give give the Hounds any second chances against the goalkeeper. There could have been a rebound or a ricochet or something like that.
So the ball did not bounce, well, either team's way, if you want to look at it that way, when it comes to the attack. I was mentioning it before we left for the break, but the Riverhounds have a 2-game road trip to end the season. At Atlanta United 2, they beat ATL. UTD 2 did the Hounds 1-0 here earlier in the season. They're probably going to have to win that one and then hope for a result at New York Red Bulls 2 8 days from now, the final Sunday, the final day of the USL regular season. We're not going to say goodbye for good, though, because the Riverhounds will be back for the first time ever. They will host a playoff game in the USL Cup postseason Saturday, October the 20th, 7 p.m. The date is set. The opponent is not set. It could be any of 4 or 5 or 6 teams, so continue to watch ESPN Plus and USLsoccer.com for your updates on how the standings shake out. Well, the fans are ready to storm the field. We're ready to head on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on ESPN Plus. I am Matt Geico alongside Paul Child. The Hounds move to 9-2-7 here at home this season, and FC Cincinnati ties the all-time USL record, 22 games unbeaten. FC Cincy continues to roll at the top of the league table. Good night, everybody.
They still have an opportunity to beat that record too. They've got one more game left.
Yes, that's right. So they can go for it. They have one thing to play for. Does Cincy? Thanks for joining us this evening.
Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.